Hi, I'm Derek Lieu, and this is a shot-by-shot breakdown of the trailer that I made for Tactical Breach Wizards. In this video, I'm going to talk about each section and shot of this trailer, why it's in there, and what you can learn. Alright, so this opening shot is just to establish the genre. We have the HUD here, which actually turns off shortly after the shot starts, which helps with readability, but really we're here to establish genre, have a cool opening shot, and then we're off to the races. In this opening section, you'll notice I also have the title of the game, Tactical Breach Wizards, and that's broken up by some shots in here. And the reason that I have the title at the beginning is because I talked to Tom Francis, the director of the game, and he just mentioned that the title of the game is one of its really really pillars. Like, people really respond well to this title because it's Tactical Breach Wizards. It's really funny. It kind of catches you off guard because, you know, tactical, it's like, oh, that's a very gamey sort of thing. Breach, you're breaching the door, and then wizards? So I knew that just with such a disarming title, we had to include it at the beginning to really hook the audience. And these other shots here, these are just, just showing some support for these title cards. Not really super duper important what's in here, just that it's a cool action scene. So we have this sort of repeller grenade thing throwing people through windows, which throwing people through windows, aka defenestration, is really important because this is the third part of the Defenestration Trilogy, the first two being Gunpoint and Heat Signature.
What if we could do that, but in space? Well, then that man would be in space.
Lots of people falling through windows in this trailer, and that is very much not an accident. Okay, and then this next shot here, this is just to support the breach part. You say breach, gotta show someone breaching a door, of course. And then after here, this is just to highlight the wizards part. They're just flying off on a broom. What else could be more wizardy or witchy? Okay, and then this next shot here, this is just to add some humor to the trailer because, this is capital T trailer music, and a big part of that is because the composer for the game, Robert Arzola, his day job is making trailer music. Lucky me. So I put in the shot here to add some humor, some levity, also to show how scrappy the characters are. They have to have their safe house at their mother's house. After that, we have the pedigree card from the developers of Gunpoint and Heat Signature because people really liked those games. Gotta tell people, this is the new game from that creator. I'd be remiss not to mention this. This next section here, this is just a sort of basic gameplay encounter. This is actually early on in the game. We just have this one enemy, and this is here just to show some basics of the game, also show a little bit more of the HUD. It goes pretty quickly, so it's something that people can kind of go back and freeze frame if they really want to see the nitty-gritty gameplay, look at the UI, because gamers love looking at UI, especially for tactics games. I also paced this scene to be a little bit slower, just to make sure that people can see that this is a turn-based game, not an action-y, real-time game. So I deliberately put in some pauses, just some small pauses here and there, so it doesn't look like an action game. And this next shot here, this whole section here, this is here to highlight the rewind and 4C mechanic. So in the game, there's a character who has this ability to foresee what order the enemies are going to take their turns in. And then the characters die, and then in the game, the other really, really important part is that you can just rewind your whole turn in the game. All the way back to the beginning. Some games are hey, we'll give you one rewind, you can just redo one turn. This one, you can rewind the whole thing. If you mess up, you don't have to worry. You can completely redo it and try it again later. This is a really key differentiator for this game in particular. So that's why I wanted to show this early on, so then that people who might be thinking, oh, well, it's just Into the Breach, they will see this and hopefully think, oh, wow, that's new. That's the reaction I want. this is something that I've seen before. Oh wait, that's new. So that's what we're doing here. After that, they rewind and they redo the encounter and they're much more successful. And then here, just to break things up again, have another little story scene. This is here to show that the antagonist is some sort of private military corporation, whatever. Also, this is just to highlight the scrappiness of the characters, and, more humor. The writing is really important, so we wanted to absolutely show more of that where we could. And then this next section is sort of like, oh crap, stuff's going down right now. We're in trouble. This is, I don't want it to be all sunshine and roses. Hey, we're expert breach wizards that we, win every single encounter that we're in. No, we're going to have some things that we're going to run in that are going to cause us trouble. So we're in this room and a whole bunch of enemies pop in. This character here is boarding up this door with these sort of magical boards. This character here is sounding the alarm. This one here pops a grenade and our heroes are blown up. And then this next section here, this is just total fan service. As I said before, this is part of the Defenestration trilogy. Throwing people through windows is a big part of the game. This is just an homage to that whole thing. Is it an homage if it's from the original creator? I don't know. So this is here to talk about the windows. Also to show the dialogue selection, to show that in this game, you will have moments where you can select dialogue. Now, functionally, all these responses are exactly the same. They're just all funny in their own way. I'm particularly partial to the "really, how hard are you throwing" line, but Tom liked the "maybe not, but we owe it ourselves to try" response better. I made sure that the dialogue gets selected pretty quickly because I don't want people to be struggling to try to read everything. I don't want people to think you're supposed to read everything on the screen. So I select it, kind of take that option away from them, so then that really, this is the only thing you need to read. And then people who want to go back and freeze frame the trailer, read the rest of the responses, they're free to do that, and they can have fun doing that. And this next section here, just a bunch of people getting thrown through windows. This is a cool cinematic shot that I did by change the in-game camera. I thought this was a really cool angle. I enjoyed doing that. And then this here, this other character makes a sort of magical window of sorts, and this enemy gets knocked through. And I really like this moment because the character actually has this dialogue bubble when they get thrown into the magical window. This next section here, this is sort of like obligatory content shot, but I wanted to rush through it really, really quickly because I think that it's not really worth spending a whole lot of time. If people want to go back and freeze frame this and look at the details of the upgrades, that's on them. But otherwise, if people watch this whole section and see, oh, content, upgrades, costumes, if that's all they get from this, I'm fine. I don't care about readability in this necessarily. I just want the overall idea to come across in this section. And then this part here, this is to show another ability that was very witchy, because they have guns, so it would have been pretty easy to show gameplay that looked mostly just the tactical part, not the wizardy, witchy part. So I wanted to make sure to show some abilities that were very uniquely witchy. And this one where they go out a window and then come in another one, which is the first example of refenestration. And then this section here, this sort of pinboard, conspiracy board thing here. Again, this goes by incredibly fast, but I'm happy if people just understand, oh, there's a board in this game where you connect things with thread. It goes really fast, and this last shot here, I zoomed way out just to show an idea of the scope of the game. This is a small section of the game we're showing, and then this is how big things get. So if people see this and say, whoa, there's gonna be a whole big board to connect the dots on, then I'm pretty happy. And then this next section is here because gotta show the cat. I'm a black cat owner. There's a black cat in the game. Gotta show the cat. You always have to show the cat. That's not the only reason that this is here. This shot is also here because I think this line is a good sense of like the scope of the game, some of the goals of the game, because, you know, I think it's not enough to just say, this is what you do in the game, but I think if you have some sort of goal objective, then that helps people form a more complete picture of the whole thing. So here we're saying we're trying to stop World War V, but also, again, re-emphasizing this is a scrappy group of people fighting this private military, and they need to get a ride home after they prevent World War V, if they do. And so that's why this is here. I did have a number of scenes I could have used which had the cat, but this one I thought was best. This next section here, again, just some more flashy abilities. This one's like an exploding barrel, and then this one here is this like Overwatch ability where the policeman crosses over and gets shot. And then this here is the third character's ability, which is like this sort of ability that goes through all these other enemies here, and, you know, just sort of show some variety and something cool. This shot in particular, I purposefully moved the mouse around so then that you could see the sort of selection happening here where you're going across all the different soldiers, just to, I think, to make that idea clearer. And then we have the title card, Tactical Breach Wizards, which again, I think if we'd waited until the very end of the trailer, we'd be missing out on an opportunity to really just insert this title into people's heads. It's such a good title. It's very disarming. It's very memorable. So had to show it at the beginning. And then at the very end here, just one final joke. Again, I wanted to show the magic abilities to emphasize the wizardy magic part of this, and also just show this ability that looks kind of flashy, this like big area of effect kind of style attack with these ghost skeletons on it. I thought it would be a fun visual and a nice way to end the trailer. Alright, and so that's my behind the scenes look at the trailer that I made for Tactical Breach Wizards. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned something. Like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, all those good things. Also, subscribe to my weekly mailing list about making game trailers at GameTrailerTips.com. If you subscribe, you can get my free game trailer editing checklist. And also, I send weekly articles, which I think are pretty interesting. Of course, I'd say that. Thank you for watching. Post any questions you have in the comments, and I'll be back with more videos about making game trailers.